We go around and explain the thing. We are the house parents. House Philip is here to explain what is rational function, rational expression, and of course, how to identify polynomial function. We. You go to the next video.
What is rational function? So rational function, it is a function in the form of f of x is equals to p of x over q of x. So it would look like a rational expression. But what is rational expression?
A rational expression is basically a function in which both the numerator and denominator are polynomials, or the p of x and the q of x are polynomials, with the condition that q of x is not equal to 0. For example, 3x squared plus 2x minus 1 over x squared minus 4. It is a rational expression because both numerator and denominator are polynomials. Second example of rational expressions is x squared minus 4 over 2x plus 5. Both numerator and denominator are polynomials, so it is a rational expression. So I have examples of non-rational expressions. So 5 over x minus x, it will be 5 over 0. So it is not a rational expression because q of x cannot be 0. So it's called undefined. So it is not a rational expression. So I have another example of non-rational expressions. So why this is not a rational expression? Because the numerator is negative and it is not a polynomial, which is the x raised to the power of negative 2. So speaking of polynomials, what is a polynomial and how do we define this? And this topic will be tackled by Ms. Pagas.
Now, I will explain how to identify polynomial function. Now, we have a 3 rule. First is no variable with positive exponent should appear in the denominator. Number 2, variable should not appear under the radical sign. Lastly, variable should not have a fractional exponent. So that is the 3 rule to know if it's polynomial function or not. So next, I will give some example and you will answer if it's polynomial or not. This one. Is this polynomial or not? Of course, you won't answer me because you don't know. So this is an example of not polynomial function because it has a fractional exponent right there, 1/4. Next example. This one. Answer. Syempre, you don't know. So this example is a polynomial function because it don't against the rule. It's good. It's good enough. Charot. So you go to the next slide.
Thank you, Harvey and Marian. Now that we know what is the rational expression and how to identify the polynomials, we can now imagine what this rational function looks like. And to add, in rational function, the q of x is not also equal in 0, and p of x and q of x are also polynomials. But rational functions and rational expressions are not the same, because rational functions are always on the form of f of x, while the rational expressions are just an expressions. Now let's continue to examples.
X plus 4 over x plus 2. This equation is a rational function. Why? Because it is said that both our numerator and denominator are supposed to be polynomial, and both of them is a polynomial now. Now let's say that we have this equation. X raised to 1/2 plus 3 over x plus 1. This equation is also not a rational function, since we have this one. It is same with q of x, but with our p of x. Right, now how can we say that an equation is really a rational function? Easy. Let's say that we have this equation, which is x plus 3 over 0. Now this equation is not a rational function. Why? It is simply because our denominator, which is a polynomial, and our q of x is not supposed to be equals to 0.
Now that you know what a rational function is, we're going to have an activity about it, and it's gonna be called na or ra. I'm gonna give an examples, and you have to guess if it's a rational function or not. Ra if it's a rational function, and na if not. So let's get started with example number 1. F of x is equals to 3x plus 1 over 2x plus 3. Is it a ra or is it a na? It's a ra. a rational function. Great job! For the next one, we have this. H of x is equal to square root of x plus 3 over x minus 4. Is it a ra or is it a na? It's a na, not a rational function because it has a radical. And for the last one, g of x is equal to x squared plus x minus 4 over 3x squared minus 2x minus 5. Is it a ra or is it a na? It's a ra, a rational function. Great job if you got it all correct. And if you didn't, you can try again. And you can rewatch this video to learn more about rational functions.
In summary, a rational function is a type of function that looks like a fraction, where both the numerator and denominator are polynomials, and the denominator cannot be zero. If there are fractional exponents, variables, under square roots, or zeros in the denominator, it is not a rational function. That's all for today's session. Remember, understanding these key points will help you recognize and work with rational functions more effectively. Thank you for tuning in Mathematics Talk. Keep practicing and we'll see you in the next session. Goodbye!